Hey, what's going on, guys? Somebody's Gun here, and today we're going to be talking about peaks and angles. Now, it's really important to understand both peaks and angles when playing Fortnite, especially because it's a third-person game. When playing right-hand peaks properly and when playing your angles properly, you're going to have an advantage on your opponent. It's not always going to be the same angle or the same peak, but if you pretty consistently get your peaks down and work to fight towards a right-hand peak, you will get that advantage and have a leg up on your opponent. So now we're going to go into the basics, and then we will talk about some more advanced techniques as far as angles and peaks. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. This one's a really cool one, interesting and helpful to you. If you do enjoy the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get right to it. Here's a quick example of the difference between a right hand and left hand peak. Notice how the body position is barely exposed on the right, but extremely exposed when you go left. This can be seen across a number of different peaks, whether it be a right hand peak over a Dorito edit, or a window, or you're combining a wall and a stair. Regardless of the peak or the edit you're making, you want to be looking to the right as opposed to the left, not leaving yourself exposed. This is going to give you a huge advantage over your opponents, and if you're consistently doing this, this will help you in all kinds of trades during fights. So let's now talk about how you can do this during engagements and get yourself in favorable position. The ideal situation is that you're putting yourself on a right hand peak and your opponent is having to take left hand peaks. Now this isn't always going to be the case, and sometimes you guys are going to trade right hand for right hand. But what you want to be doing is, one, forcing your opponent to be taking bad angles during fights. This will allow you to get easier shots and limit your exposure. Secondly, you want to make sure that you're taking right hand peaks. This makes you much harder to hit, gives you an advantage in fights, and ultimately should help you win them. Alright, so let's break down this fight and I'll talk you through how exactly I am trying to keep a right hand angle and push our opponent to try and get a left hand angle. To start, using the 2x1 is a super easy way to always force right hand peaks. You have the two walls against an opponent to try and get better angles here, and that's exactly what I was trying to do. The opponent's then going to take one of the walls, and I'm going to escape this box knowing I probably don't have the ping advantage. I try and go for a right hand peek once. With the Dorito edit, it doesn't happen, so then I just move on out of that box. I then grab a double edit on top of our opponent. I hesitate before jumping in the box because I don't own the cone in there, and it will become a 50-50. I let the opponent get out of the box, grab the wall against him, and he becomes full boxed, and now I control the entirety of this fight, and I should be taking whatever angle that I want. I quickly lose control of the wall, the opponent takes it, so I'm going to dive to the right, knowing that he's probably going to take a window or a Dorito edit, and if I go to the right, it's going to make it difficult for him to get a good shot on me even with a solid right hand peek. I am at an angle disadvantage here, and I am trying to limit any kind of exposure I have to the opponent. I want to take this wall back so that I can recontrol what kind of angles that I can take. So when he makes the edit, I look to hit it and grab it back. That way I can go for the edit that's preferable for me instead of him making it on me. You can see once I make that edit, he tries to do the same thing, diving to the left, his right, to try and cover himself behind the wall. I took a preferable peek, he didn't have much of a shot on me, and I win this initial trade. I'm going to be honest with you. With all the pieces that I control in this fight, I shouldn't just be diving back in on him, but personally I'm not super confident with my resetting of walls, so I just dive right in and get the elim. This is just one example of a fight, and I would highly recommend you to watch pros such as Reet, Noah Riley, or Mr. Savage. All of them are really good at playing their angles well and a lot better than me, and they'll show you multiple examples within a fight at a much faster pace. But here's an example of myself showing you that you don't need to be the best player in the world in order to use right hand peeks to your advantage. Now I want to show you one other example of how to use right hand peeks, and this is especially when you have a player box. I feel like a lot of times when you own a box, you're not properly taking advantage of it because you're not using the best angles possible. That's what we're going to talk about watching this fight and how exactly I did it. To start off with, the player lands on my floor and I go for the full box. I should have went for the ramp first to protect myself, but ignore that, still get the full box anyway. After I get the full box, I'm going to rotate the ramp and then swing right. That way I keep my right hand angle, and the player is going to have to take a left hand peek in order to shoot me back. This gives me the advantage. After I hit him, he's going to shoot the ramp, and I'm going to reclaim all the pieces in this box once again. I know I could just take a 50-50 here with the HP advantage that I have, but I'm going to repeat the same process knowing that I have all the pieces here and I want to still hold the right hand angle. This is going to force our opponent into a poor position, and I'm going to walk away with this fight nice and easily, barely taking any damage. Alright, now let's talk about how to practice your angles and peaks. I like to use Donwazi's piece control map. It's got a bunch of different scenarios, but we'll just use the first one as an example. And in piece control, it is important not only to have the control of the fight, but also to use the right angles afterwards. So there's an opponent down here in this first scenario. Boom, we're going to ramp over him. We're going to grab the walls, and then we can use our right hand peaks again. We can either take this ramp edit and then use a right hand peek over the stair, boom, right here. Or we can now go to the side, use a window edit, and then grab it there. I like this because it has reps. You can just keep going, switches the position of the opponent, and you can continue to do the same thing. That is what I like to do to practice it. You could also do this in-game. I would highly suggest using realistics or in-game scenarios to get better at it, because it's not simply just going to be one thing that you could do over and over again without practice. Highly recommend different piece control maps, focusing on this in game, because most importantly, it has to be an area of focus for you if you want to be good at it. It's not just going to happen because one day you decided to do right hand peeks. It's going to be something that's constant for you, and I hope you guys learned something from the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. You can check out Donwazi's map down below in the comments, and I'm Somebody's Gun. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.